Hello everyone, and welcome back to another live futures trading video. This is Connor Slayton from Futures Analytica, and like usual, we are trading ES futures on our main account with some automated and semi-automated order flow trading with the Polarity ATI. So glance right here at these past 5 bars before market open and take a look at the delta compared to the price. There is a very low correlation between delta and price, with delta showing a high number of buyers even though price is staying the same and almost following that blue reverse straight line. We're not going to arm both at open like usual, and instead we're going to flick on automatic mode in the Polarity ATI instead. And as the market opens, price passes below that automatically marked absorption level, which, since we have auto arm enabled, fully arms the strategy, and it is now looking for a triple stacked imbalance for a short entry. We have been using these same settings for quite some time now on ES, however the volume for the next contract, which expires in December, is quickly approaching parity for the current September contract. We're going to likely be making some small adjustments to our imbalance settings when we switch over to the December contract, which I suggest you switch over to by the time this video is out. It's been pretty choppy with no real direction being picked for the first 10 minutes of market open. The automatic mode combined with the order flow data not giving us an entry has kept us out of any potential losses. Just a small disclaimer for all of my videos is that the commentary for these is done in post based off of the verbal notes that I take during my trading session. This allows me to give you guys a much more refined and actionable idea of my trading thesis than if I were to do it fully live like the first few videos on this channel. Right there was the first trade of the day. Price broke out of that green absorption level, which fully armed the strategy, and right as that happened, a large number of aggressive buyers stepped in, which was detected with those blue stacked numbers which represent imbalances. The Polarity ATI trades based off of those stacked numbers, which is why we got entered into a long position there. The time from that trade entry to the trade being filled for a $700 profit was only a few seconds long after those aggressive buyers joined the market and price followed suit. And then only 10 seconds after that fill, price breaks above that reverse strength line, which is indicated in green. More aggressive buyers start to join, and we are back into another long trade. As indicated by the negative 35% and negative 42% right below delta at the bottom there, we are seeing a decrease in delta bar over bar. And since delta represents the difference in aggressive buyers and aggressive sellers, we may see a decrease in positive price action to follow suit very shortly. We can add to that thesis with the fact that the reverse strength line would indicate that we are now just a tad bit overbought. So although the trade is solid, we're going to disable auto arm for the time being, as we don't want to get trapped into a long trade. This trade did take much longer to fill than the last, and with that decrease in delta bar over bar, you can see the correlation firsthand between delta and price action. If any of these terms that I'm using are new to you, I have a really quick 5-minute video down below with everything you need to know about how order flow trading works. If you need something a little bit more in depth, we have another one on the channel which breaks it down even further. About 5 more minutes have passed with delta progressively decreasing with price following. We spot that 29 delta divergence just 1 bar back, so this would indicate us to switch back on the automatic arming mode to go hands off one more time. If this style of trading order flow imbalances with automated execution interests you at all, check out the Polarity ATI down below, which by the way does not require you to have purchased Order Flow Plus from NinjaTrader. There's training included with the Polarity ATI, which goes much more in depth on how to trade most effectively with the tool. The Reverse Strength Zones tool, which is on our chart now, is a free tool we actually released a few weeks ago, which you can download for free in the description. After about 5 minutes, we're pushed right into another long trade. Might have been a good idea to notice that progressive bar over bar decrease in delta right before this entry, but I'm not going to lie to you guys and pretend that I don't make mistakes too. This mistake does lead us to be stopped out, bringing our gains today back down to $700. However, we're definitely going to be leaving auto arm enabled as we're looking for that next trade. About 20 minutes now have passed since our last trade. Scrolling back, we saw price follow that reverse strength line almost to a T, push all the way down to the bottom reverse strength line, and then bounce off of it, making its way back up with no trade being taken during that time period. Now another 5 minutes have passed with even more range-bound action sticking within the bounds of those strength lines with no trades being triggered. We're now seeing price make its way out of that absorption level with a break of the strength level following shortly after. Just as that happens, we see buyer aggression kick in, pushing us into a long trade. Now price is just a little bit hesitant to make its way up to our fill, with us almost getting stopped out. We have a bit more time before we need to make a decision on if we want to disable our automatic arming mode, but after taking into account the huge negative 456 divergence on the bar prior, we are going to stick with it enabled. There was our third take profit being hit for the day, which pulled our profit back up to where we were before our last trade. However, just as that fill happened, 3 more levels of aggressive buyers moved in, pushing us immediately into another long trade. It would have been nice to have a little break in between those trades to maybe get some more information. So for the time being, taking into account the slow price action on the last trade, we're going to disable auto arm. We get a fill that brings our profit to right over $2,100. This is really only a temporary decision, and it's a good idea to re-enable it if no aggressive selling happens, as we don't want to miss a potentially massive bull run. But right after those 6 levels of imbalances with no active sellers to oppose, the market flips in a downward direction with an exactly 0 difference between buyers and sellers, even though prices move down. So we're definitely going to continue that decision with disabling auto arm, at least until we get some more information. So about 10 more minutes have passed. Price did make its way down, but it wouldn't have made a real difference if we had enabled auto arm during the downturn, as there weren't any stacks in either direction. We've now seen the formation of 2 more of those absorption levels, so we are going to re-enable automatic arming mode with some hopes to capture any directional movement. A lot of trading the strategy in automatic arming mode is waiting around, but you are going to want to be constantly observing delta price correlation. If you're looking for a system that you can just flip on and walk away from, this is not the system that you're looking for. But frankly, I don't believe any system that profitably does that are publicly available. However, if you find something, send it over to me. I would love to trade it, a strategy that is completely automated that I can just flick on and walk away from. But if you do want a system that takes as much of the trader out of the trade in both decision making and execution, I really think we've gotten as close to that as humanly possible with the Polarity ATI. Price has bounced its way off of the previous absorption level one more time before pushing through. Right as it pushed through, the system got confirmation of an inflow of aggressive money into the market, and we got another long trade. We get stopped out on that trade, but I definitely think we could have avoided that if we didn't make the exact same mistake we did earlier today and paid attention to delta. This wasn't just a decrease like last time. We saw a massive negative 494 delta right before the bar that filled our trade, and we totally overlooked that, which cost us another $700 in profit. I think every trader has a personal challenge to overcome, and paying attention has always been my issue, which is why this tool was created, to help me trade. I would so often miss stacked imbalances or be just a few seconds late, causing me to lose a trade I would have won if I was quicker. Now obviously, by that last trade, you can tell that I am still working on that aspect of myself, but this tool massively increased my performance when trading these imbalances. So here's round 2. With delta increasing again some more, stacked imbalances form, which pushes us into a long trade. I think we're really pushing our luck by going long another time. Price has been trending upward all day, but it's not been a continuous increase without a small pullback. We're going to want to look for some kind of indication that we're not going to get whipsawed if we get entered on another trade before we switch auto arm back on. So that trade took about 7 minutes to fill, which is pretty long for this strategy typically, but regardless, another cool $700 in profit, which brings our total up to just above $2,100. Another 20 minutes have passed since our fill, and because we fell for the classic blunder of trying to outperform your own strategy, we totally missed a profitable trade that we would have easily and automatically caught if we had left automatic arming on. After years of doing this, I still make this mistake. Trust your strategy and don't take into account things you usually don't take into account in your strategy. And in fashion that I think you all have experienced, you don't want to chase a move you already missed, so we're going to stay out until we see some kind of short opportunity or a totally new long retracement, not just another leg of the same move. So there's another 30 minutes of just waiting for what the market will do next. And we're starting to see some absorption levels forming, which we are going to mark with the y-axis range tool. and that strong delta depression accompanied by a departure of correlation between delta and price. After a long bull run, this is a very, very strong sign that we're seeing a new top form and price is going to correct in a way that is easy for us to read with order flow. So here we're going to wait for one of two things to happen if we're looking for a short opportunity. For price to close below the green strength line, or for price to touch the yellow zone we marked but not pass through it. In either of these conditions, we will arm it in the short direction only. And the second condition occurs, where price just kissed the yellow zone with a zero forming at the top left of that bar, confirming that absorption level and giving us the green light to arm short. We got an entry into a short trade there with some quick price action and some high position size entries causing the imbalances. The first 75% of this movement in the direction we're looking for was very fast and easy, but this last 25% is giving us some resistance. Price is slowly making its way down, but delta is also slowly getting closer and closer to zero. And if it does close with the low absolute value, that would be our cue to disarm. When that trade closed in our favor, delta was at a positive level with negative price action. So we are going to be waiting for some more information before we want to make another decision on when to arm. Upon the close of the bar prior, we are seeing a 590 delta on a decrease in price, which is obviously a divergence, and we're going to be arming in the short direction. Takes almost 15 minutes after arming in the short direction for us to get filled into a trade, but those imbalances lit up like a Christmas tree. Tons of great price delta action here, so we're going to flip it back onto auto arm and let the system take over. Awesome fill there with tons of potential for future trades. Going to pretty much go hands off until we see any of the indicators discussed prior. Looks like auto arm pushed us into a short trade there on this massive correction. Very swift back-to-back trade there. Small divergence on the 302 bar, which I've interpreted as active buyers being unable to stop this huge negative price action. Price hits our 15-tick take profit for another $700 added to our daily gains, pushing us just above that 5,000 mark. Huge blow through imbalance here, obliterating any limit buys at those levels, pushing us into another trade. I've heard people say, oh well, you could have just gone short at the top and stayed in on this whole movement. And yeah, you could have, but how would you even know that this movement is going to occur? How would you actually know when to get out? And what do you do when the market starts to go range bound? You definitely need more than just hope that your Hail Marys are going to work out in trading, and my personal solution to that problem is just to go for small, consistent wins. So with that trade loss, it looks like the huge unstoppable momentum is sort of dying on this huge dive. We're very satisfied with our gains today at a grand total of 5,000 and change after commissions. Honestly, really interesting day, and I'm very happy with how that went. I think we handled the abnormally high early morning chop very well, and skimped by long enough to capture a really great midday correction. If you guys are interested in trading the system I'm using in the video, check it out with the link in the description. We've got tons of free updates included with purchase coming soon, which you won't want to miss. And guys, if you learned something in this video or just enjoyed watching, I would love it if you just left a like and a comment. It really helps me out, and it's a great way to support this channel. My work ethic for pushing out these videos sort of relies on words of affirmation, so I really do appreciate it. And if you're interested in more of this type of content, I would love it if you subscribe to our channel. Thank you guys for watching to the very end, and I'll see you all very soon.